All right, it was brought to my attention that even though I kind of use the community posts on here on YouTube to try to let everybody know of what I'm doing, what I'm busy with. My inclusion of workshops, the books that are coming out, all of the various things that what I'm doing on Patreon, etc. So I kind of post on the community post, but it was brought to my attention that not many people actually see that. So I did consider doing shorts, but this problem with shorts is they get a lot of views, hell of a lot of views, but no engagement. So people don't click through, they don't go and check things, they just swipe to the next one. So I'm left with doing a video. So what I thought I'd do, I haven't done one of my what the hell is going on videos in a long time, so I'm not going to call it that anymore. But yeah, something similar. The title kind of gives you an indication of what's going on. Anyway, all right. So let me just cover all the bases, and hopefully a lot more people kind of find out what I'm actually doing. Because I do come up against this. Being the creator, you just kind of say I'm doing X, Y, and Z, and you kind of expect everybody to kind of to know that in the future as well. But then new people come onto the channel, they don't see that, they don't know what you do, and then all of a sudden, 5 years down the line, you say, "Oh, I wrote a book 20 years ago," and they have no idea. So I have to keep reminding people of what I am actually busy with and doing and did and all that stuff. Anyway. So, and apart from that, I actually hate talking about myself, to be honest. So I find this very difficult. But let's have a look. So first of all, books. All right. Next week, Tuesday on the 14th, I am releasing the next book I was working on, which is Threshold Ecstasy. It's a method of Western sex magic. So this isn't going into Tantra. It's not going into anything left-hand path, Vamamaga, etc., etc. It's not going into any Eastern philosophies or practices. It's purely Western sex magic. It is also, I wouldn't say it's a beginner book at all. It kind of assumes you know how to do magic, you know how to work with energy. What it's doing is kind of extending from that. And it really is about energy manipulation. It's about working with the ecstatic energy itself. Yeah, so it's an extension of basically what you've been doing in magic. You'll probably recognize the force itself, that ecstatic energy that kind of arises anyway. It's just that this is a kind of a different way of working with it, a different way of moving it, a different way of pushing it into particular directions, using it for your magic. I've also gone into a whole section about abuse and things like that. Things to look out for in other people, but also in yourself, because it can be a very kind of erotic energy is very seductive, and you can find yourself in some places sometimes that you didn't think you were going to go to, or you didn't want to go into the first place. So it's kind of like just making sure you don't go there. I also go into working with spirits sexually within sex magic itself. And although I do touch on partnered work, it is mostly focused on solo sex magic. And that's where it really should begin. Even if you want to go and do partnered work, you should be working on yourself first and then extending into partnered work, because there's a lot of things you have to work through, a lot of things you have to get sorted out before you can work sex magic just as a solo, just by yourself. You don't want to sort of bring all that baggage with you until you've sorted it out, into a partnered working. So anyway, so that's the book that's coming out. What I'm doing between now and then is there's a few projects that I did in the past on Patreon that as I was working through the various things, I would create the material, and then at the end, kind of put everything into a book format or PDF. So what I'm doing, I'm releasing those. This, I think it was on Tuesday, I uploaded to my website the Candle Magic book, which is just it's called just another little candle magic book. All right, it's very basic. It's a straightforward candle magic working book, how to work with the talismans and the planetary energies and all of that stuff within your candle magic workings. I created that as part of the training, the foundational training in the Temple of the Horned Serpent tiers on Patreon. So published that one. What's coming out, I think it's today, it should be today, is I'm going to be uploading the book of Black Book of Obi Mero, which was the working I did with the devil, actually, getting in contact with the devil, making a pact, getting the devil's name, the devil giving you a name, etc., 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 and then actually creating the black book, which becomes a current of energy that you work with in relationship with the devil. So I'll bring that out today. That'll be on my website as well. And then on Saturday, I am going to upload and release on my website the Vacatio Australis, which is a method of goetic conjuration. It's kind of a layered thing that I did. It was me and working alongside the spirits to come up with this method, and it kind of works on the planetary bases, and you're calling the Deccan that is related to the Goetic spirit. If you go and have a look into the Golden Dawn, the Mathers version and the Crowley version of the Ars Goetia, you'll notice there's mention of the Decans in relation to the 72 spirits. So it works on the spirits of day and the spirits of night, all of that stuff. So it's all explained in the book anyway. But it kind of layers and goes in that direction. So you work with the planetary energy that you then call the Decan. You kind of put yourself into a position in the circle which lines up with the Decan, all of that stuff. Anyway, I don't want to give it all away, it's in the book if you go buy it. So those are the three I'm doing now, and then on Tuesday I'll launch the new one. All right, it should be launched on all platforms on Tuesday. I shouldn't have a difficulty. First is going to be the paperback, which is going to be on Lulu, and then I'll put the PDF on my website, and it will also be available as an EPUB through various different sites. I do that through Smashwords. Can't remember all the sites it goes on to. I know it goes on to Everand because I'm a subscriber to Everand, so I'll see it there. But there's a few other stores that it goes to. All right, that's the books. Then the workshops. So I've been kind of releasing workshops, and I've started doing them. The first one was last month, which was the spirit vessel. It was the art of the spirit vessel, which was to create a spirit box dedicated to a particular spirit. In the workshop, we actually work with Nakiel, and it's a very practical kind of workshop. This next one coming up, which is this Saturday. So if you want to get into that, book it now. I only repeat these workshops every 6 months. Okay, so book now to get into this one. It's the creation of a familiar spirit, and in this particular workshop, what we're doing, again, very practical. You create a familiar spirit in the workshop. I've kind of explained it as not quite a servitor, which is often a short-term kind of tasked spirit, and not an egregore, which is more of a mass mind kind of entity, somewhere in between. This is like an entity that you work with, a lifelong relationship. But anyway, so that's this workshop coming up this Saturday, so definitely go book for that now. Next month is going to be The Witch's Mind, which is all about trance, uh, getting into trance, the two different main methods we have, the active and the passive methods of actually getting into trance and then experimenting with it. The one after that, which I'm now currently started working on yesterday, is going to be an introduction to planetary magic. That's going to lead up into the next thing I want to mention, which is masterclasses that I'm going to start. And that will probably, the first one will probably start in, I don't know, probably about 4 months' time from now, because I need to give enough people enough time to actually um, um, prepare for it, basically. Um, so the first masterclass is going to be taking all of the foundational training material that is on the Temple of the Horned Serpent tiers on Patreon and using that and doing a masterclass. So that's going to be over an 8-month period. Each the training itself is split into 8 months. Okay, so you have a monthly exercise that you do for that month. Each month kind of works on a chakra, and then you also have a lot of supporting stuff, material. We kind of explore how to do candle magic, how to make puppets, how to work with sigils, and how to work with mirror boxes in the different months. So there's a lot of additional material that goes into it. It's not just that kind of daily practice that you do, which helps with your energy bodies and actually manipulating, working with energy itself. We have a look at trance work. We have a look at working with your ancestors. We have a look at working with the 4 elemental kings. We have a look at creating the circle or the compass. So there's all of this additional material that goes into it. There's a lot. Yeah, so it's going to be, I'll be on camera on Zoom. It'll be done, all the workshops and these are going to be done through Zoom. And so I'll be on camera with you in the class itself twice a month, and I'll go through all the material for the month, and then the second one we'll have a look at progression and things like that, and then additional material for that month as well, and then going on to the next month, etc., for the 8 months. After that, I want to do a planetary magic masterclass, which will extend over 4 months. So I'll have the introduction to planetary magic as a workshop, and then we'll extend and go deeper into the masterclass. So that will take up an entire year. I've still got 2 more workshops that I need to figure out what to do. As I said, the workshop's going to be repeated every 6 months, so or maybe I'll just do 4 and repeat them, 3 times a year. I'll see how it goes anyway. Right, so there's that. Then, final thing I want to talk about at the moment is Sarah Mastros. I will link to the book review I did for The Sorcery of Solomon and also the interview I did with her. She is doing a masterclass of her own, which is starting at the end of May for The Sorcery of Solomon. So it's very much the book, but extending further, going into a lot more depth, detail, and additional material. That's going to be absolutely fantastic. I'm going to be there. So if you do join, I'll probably see you in the classes. But go and check out the interview I did. There's a link and a coupon code to get a discount on the masterclass itself. All right. And that, I believe, not everything, but all the main stuff anyway. So maybe I'll do another one soon so I can catch up on all the other stuff. There's a lot going on at the moment. There's a lot going on this year. It's going to be jam-packed full of exciting stuff. All right, so definitely keep an eye out. As I said, I kind of try to let everybody know on various platforms. I add this stuff on the community posts, which apparently not many people actually do see. I kind of post it on my Patreon, but that's a different audience again. I put it on my Facebook, but that's a different audience again. So I try to kind of let everybody know, but it's kind of difficult. I will say, if you go onto my website, join the newsletter. I do I do try and send out a newsletter every Wednesday. I'm getting a bit better at it, but I do try to fill everybody in with what's going on in the newsletter, and that doesn't rely on an algorithm. If you're signed up for the newsletter, you're going to get the newsletter. It's not an algorithm that decides if you see it or not. So definitely sign up for the newsletter if you want to stay up to date with everything. All right, that's it. And cheers for now. Bye bye.